has a big impact.
How's everybody doing? Sorry about that. Boom. How's everybody doing? My name is Alan Roberts. Thank you for joining me. I hope you're all having a fabulous day. This is my second video of a cajillion today. I have 2 episodes of Jewcast coming up after this. And then I have an episode of Evening Rants coming up with Alan Chen, Dr. Alan Chen. So we're going to be discussing Joe Biden's cognitive decline. That was very, very obvious, and you had to lie about if you wanted to pretend that he didn't. Many of you out there voted for somebody that you knew was cognitively impaired to be president of the United States. Like, deep down, you knew it. That means many of you out there are horrible fucking people who would rather be right than watch the world get fucked up. Because you can't possibly tell me that you thought that's a good idea. Like, anyway, we'll be talking about that later on tonight. She said, no, she's waiting for tomorrow. Good, have her wait for tomorrow about that. So, now, I have Abby on the front here because she's one of them. But I just wanted to play this young lady first, right? Let's get to her video right here.
Big influencer who sells a macro program has been taking a GLP-1 for the last 11 months and did not share it with her audience. This video isn't about GLP-1s, but rather how important it is to get your nutrition information from a trusted nutrition professional like a registered dietitian. Have you?
Registered dietitians should not be trusted about nutritional information because they're taught what the food industry and the pharma industry wants people to know about nutrition. Everybody grasps that, right? Like, there's a reason why bro science is better than science most of the time, right? Because bro science is literally all about results. 100%. It's literally all about repeatable results. Like, bro science is about what fucking works, right? Dietitians are about the goddamn food pyramid. Like, you can't be taught the food pyramid as a profession and expect to be taken seriously at this stage. So this woman's saying, like, you should only trust dietitians. Why the fuck would I trust a dietitian? You guys aren't even taught this shit. Like, you guys aren't even taught what actually fucking works. You're nothing but pharma and big food shills. Like, the premise, the basis, and for a lot of you, it's not your fault because you're just going off of what you were taught in school, which was bullshit. Like, we know it was bullshit. Like, it's widely accepted that the food pyramid is bullshit. That's what they're taught off of. That's literally what they're taught off of, is the food pyramid. Why should you be seen as any type of fucking expert on anything health related? The food pyramid is fucking horrendous.
Have you guys ever thought about how crazy it is that people can decide to sell a nutrition program and tell other people how to eat because we position them as an expert based on their body size and their appearance? Do you?
We position you as an expert because Big Food and Big Pharma wrote a curriculum that you passed. Like, you're considered an expert because you got a piece of paper from the people that write all the fucking policies that are, in fact, the reason why we're fat as fuck right now. Claiming I'm a dietitian and I'm an expert and you're not. You are not an expert on any fucking thing except for the food pyramid and wrong information. Like, I don't understand how somebody just said is Abby Sharp a shill. She's an RD. If Abby Sharp is a shill, period. And being an RD means fucking jack all. I'm just letting everybody know, like, for real, when I was in healthcare, I ran the nutritional departments of everything from hospitals to assisted livings, skilled nursings, continued care retirement communities, all those things, right? Dietitians literally are taught mostly how to feed people through a fucking tube. there's not, like, when you're being taught on a basis of what the food industry and the pharma industry says is what you should be taught on, we should not fucking we should not give a fuck. You are not an expert. You are an expert on what pharma and big food wants us to know. That's what you're an expert on.
Know how dangerous this is. It gives me flashbacks to the Brittany Dawn era.
Is it dangerous, like, 6 to 11 servings of ultra processed food in a fucking day? Like, that's dangerous, because that's dangerous. But that's what you were taught. 11 servings of ultra processed foods in a fucking day. Like, all the data points to eating more than 10% ultra processed foods as an average is deleterious to your health, let alone over 20% causes massive cognitive decline. And we as people in the United States, not me, but we as people average eating over 60% ultra processed foods. Like, if you are responsible for that, you're a fucking failure. And that's what you push on people, is this ultra processed bullshit.
Gave way too restrictive programs to very vulnerable people. We eat multiple times a day, every single day of our lives. And we are entrusting guidance on one of the most important things we do for our body with people who have literally zero training in nutrition.
We are entrusting you when you have literally zero training in nutrition that is not curated by the big food industry and big pharma. Almost none. Like, you are not an expert. Just because you have a piece of paper that was given to you for passing a curriculum that was set forth by big food and big pharma does not mean you are actually good for our health. At all. Whatsoever. Like, it's wild to hear these people talk like this. Like, well, you're not a dietitian. You're right. I actually get people to lose weight and keep it the fuck off. You're not a doctor. You're right. That's why I was right the whole fucking time in 2020 and 2021. You're 100% right. Like, here's what we're going to do. Let's do this. Instead of listening to her beef, we're going to go to this. This is an article I wrote on my Substack. Please do check it out, by the way. Hang on, let me see if I can do this a little differently. Oh, there we go. There it is. All right. So this is Dietitians compromised by industry objectivity impossible. The dietetics profession, once a beacon of trusted nutritional guidance, is now entangled in a web of corporate influence that renders it objectively unattainable. Dietitians expected to provide impartial advice to improve public health are compromised by the pervasive influence of big food and pharmaceutical industries through funding, leadership ties, biased education, and social media promotions. These industries shape the recommendations dietitians offer, often prioritizing profit over health. This systemic capture has dire consequences, contributing to the escalating rates of obesity and chronic disease while eroding public trust in a profession. This article exposes the depth of the industry capture and argues that dietitians, as currently positioned, cannot be seen as objective health advisors. The corporate capture of dietetics, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, and representing over 112,000 nutritional professionals, is at the core of this crisis. Far from being an independent advocate for health, and has deep financial ties to the food industry. A 2022 investigation by The Guardian revealed that And accepted at least $15 million from corporate contributors between 2011 and 2017, with additional millions funneled into its foundation. Major donors included Nestle's, Pepsi-Cola, Hershey's, Kellogg's, General Mills, Conagra, and National Dairy Council, and Abbott Nutrition. These relationships extend beyond donations, as And has engaged in sponsorship deals described as quid pro quos, where companies pay for specific rights and benefits, such as promoting products like Abbott's Pediasure in the pediatricians' offices. Moreover, And's leadership is riddled with conflicts of interest. A 2022 study in public health nutrition highlighted that key figures in And have held positions in multinational food and pharmaceutical corporations, creating a revolving door between industry and regulation. For example, board members have served as consultants for companies like Monsanto, Bayer, and National Cattlemen's Beef Association, or held roles at industry-funded groups like the International Food Information Council. These entanglements ensure that Ann's policies and guidelines often align with corporate interests, such as endorsing processed foods as part of a balanced diet, despite evidence linking them to health issues through public health nutrition. Tainted education, a foundation of bias. The influence of industry begins in the classroom, where dietitians receive their training. Prestigious institutions like Harvard's T.H. Chan School of Public Health, a leader in nutritional education, have accepted funding from companies such as Nestle and Mars. This funding can shape research agendas and curricula, prioritizing industry-friendly narratives over rigorous science. A 2016 NPR report detailed how the sugar industry funded research in the 1960s to downplay the link between sugar and heart disease, a practice that persists today, with food companies spending millions on research that often favor the production of ultra-processed foods. For instance, a 2010 meta-analysis found no significant link between saturated fat and heart disease, yet many university programs continue to emphasize low-fat, high-carb diets, reflecting outdated paradigms influencing biased industry-backed research. So in other words, when Harvard was paid off by the sugar lobby to lie, we are still using that information to form all of dietitians' training. It can't be trusted. You can't be trusted at all. The dietary guidelines for Americans, which heavily inform dietitian training, are similarly compromised. A 2023 report revealed that members of the Guidelines Advisory Committee have undisclosed financial ties to food, beverage, and pharmaceutical companies, including Novo Nordisk and Weight Watchers. These conflicts can lead to guidelines that promote processed food over whole, unprocessed options, undermining the objectivity of the education dietitians receive. That is from Fit Insider, by the way. As a result, dietitians are often trained to advocate for dietary patterns that align with industry interests rather than latest scientific evidence. Social media, a platform for industry influence. Social media has become a new frontier for industry to influence dietitian advice. A 2023 investigation by the Washington Post found that many registered dietitians with large followings on platforms like Instagram and TikTok are paid by food companies to promote products such as sugary cereals, soda, and supplements. For example, a dietitian was paid by a Canadian Sugar Institute to post videos promoting sugary foods, framing them as part of a balanced diet while downplaying the health risks. These paid promotions blur the line between professional advice and advertising, further eroding public trust in dietitians' objectivity. The issue extends beyond individual dietitians and itself has engaged in sponsorship deals that leverage dietitians' influence to promote industry products. In 2015, and was in a $300,000 sponsorship agreement with Abbott Nutrition, discussing strategies to use dietitians' access to pediatricians' offices to push Pediasure, an infant nutrition product. Such arrangements demonstrate how industry funding directly shapes the recommendations dietitians provide, making impartiality impossible. Public health consequences. The impact of industry capture is stark. Despite widespread access to dietitian services, obesity rates in the United States have climbed to 42% as of 2018, very likely being vastly over that right now. And if we went by waist to height ratio, it's probably somewhere around the 60 percentile range. And 13% of adults have type 2 diabetes, according to the CDC. This trend suggests that mainstream nutritional advice shaped by industry-influenced guidelines is failing to address the root cause of chronic disease. For example, industry-backed guidelines often promote high-carb, low-fat diets that can exacerbate insulin resistance, a key driver of diabetes, while sidelining evidence-based approaches like low-carb ketogenic diets that show promise in managing chronic conditions. The pharmaceutical industry also benefits from the system by promoting dietary advice that fails to prevent chronic disease. Dietitians inadvertently sustain demand for medications for conditions like diabetes and hypertension. A 2019 study found that 80% of the continuing medical education for healthcare professionals, including dietitians, was funded by pharmaceutical companies, often emphasizing drug-based solutions over lifestyle intervention. This dynamic further limits dietitians' ability to advocate for preventative nutrition, as the training and continued education are steeply industry influenced. The impossibility of objectivity. The depth of industry capture makes it impossible for dietitians to be seen as objective. It's just impossible. Your training, your continued training, and the basis of your training is all based on bias towards the big food industries, the big pharma industries. And you may not even realize it, but you're fucking worthless if you're a dietitian at this point. Like, your entire education is bullshit. I'm sorry, but at no point in time should you be able to say, I'm a dietitian, therefore take my diet advice. That's ridiculous, because your diet advice is the fucking food pyramid. And the food pyramid is not a diet advice. The food pyramid is a chronic illness generator advice. It's so crazy. When the professional organizations accept millions from food companies, when their education is shaped by industry-funded research, and when they are paid to promote processed foods on social media, impartiality is unattainable. This is not a reflection of individual dietitians' ethics, but a structural flaw in the system. A 2020 study in PLOS ONE found that 13% of articles in top nutrition journals were backed by the food industry, with 56% of those reporting their findings favorable to industry interests, compared to only 10% of non-industry funded studies. This systemic bias ensures that dietitians' advice is tainted by corporate agendas, undermining their role as trusted health advisors. And the only way to restore trust in dietitians requires sweeping changes and must sever all ties with industry and adopt transparent conflict of interest policies. Universities should overhaul nutrition criteria to prioritize peer-reviewed independent research over industry-funded studies. Dietitians must reject paid promotions and advocate for evidence-based, individualized nutrition that accounts for metabolic diversity, as demonstrated by a 2015 study showing varied glycemic responses to identical foods. Consumers can also play a role by seeking practitioners who prioritize whole foods and personalized plans by bypassing industry-backed guidelines like the USDA's MyPlate, which is basically the food pyramid. Dietitians are not merely influenced by big food and big pharma, they are ensnared by them. From Ann's financial ties to food giants, to the biased education provided by universities and the paid promotions on social media, the dietetics profession is so deeply compromised that objectivity is impossible. This capture has real-world consequences, fueling epidemics of obesity and chronic disease while eroding public trust. It's time for a reckoning in the nutrition sciences, one that demands transparency, independence, and a return to evidence-based practice free of corporate control. That, my friends, is why dietitians can suck on my entire penis when they tell me that I should listen to them. I'm sorry, but most dietitians I know are fat themselves. I'm not listening to you about my health if you are in fact fat. That is just not going to fucking happen. Their advice is basically, trust me, bro. It is. It honestly is. Like, that's the thing. First of all, this is something people get out of my coaching, so I hope everybody understands. Like, just as I discussed in that article that I wrote for my Substack, which, by the way, go subscribe to my Substack. It's called Reality Exists. Please do. In fact, I'll post up the Substack for it right here. And here's where you can get that article. But it's not even that, like, they themselves are horrible people, because some of them are. So, like, if you accept money to basically lie and bullshit to your audience, if you accept money for that to lie and bullshit your audience on social media, you can't be trusted. You're just a horrible person. Now, there's horrible people in every fucking industry, right? But the problem is that, like, if you're a dietitian and you just go by what you were taught in school, you don't know shit. You don't know shit. Like, frankly, I wonder if you should even be people should even be referred to you. I mean, and you're going to be, because the same industry that has captured your industry has captured the people that would refer people to you. Like, the actual healthcare industry is captured by big food and big pharma interests. So therefore, they're going to refer people to you because you're captured by big pharma and big food interest. Like, and you can't even, it's not even a deniable factor, right? Your education is fucking wrong. Like, I'm going to argue that doctors' educations are fucking wrong because doctors learn nothing about nutrition either. Doctors are literally taught how the fucking plumbing works. That's it. You know? No, I mean, I'm very oversimplifying it, but they don't know how to fuel the body. If doctors were taught about nutrition, I wouldn't have 40% of my clientele be doctors, nurses, physicians, assistants, and shit. Like, 40% of mine and Crystal's weight loss clientele are doctors and nurses trying to lose weight, you know? Anyway. Looking very professional and a great day, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I am literally just wearing a shirt, people. I'm just literally wearing a shirt. The ones that aren't fat do not adhere to their own advice. They tell others to eat highly processed foods while they won't. That's such a good point. I mean, such a good point. Overall moral is if they carry the label dietitian or nutritionist, take their tainted advice with a grain of salt. Beware, of course. Completely agree. Isn't RD literally a 6-week class and a test? No, there's like you go to school. Like I believe it's a 4-year degree. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying the education's wrong. Wild. Do you have to be an RD to become a nutrition scientist? I don't know. I really don't. I don't know. Tigger Jones, I lost 80 pounds, raised HDL and lowered triglycerides in addition to healing my hormones, and my doc said to avoid saturated fats. I just smiled. Like, your doc's probably fat too, you know? That's just wild. Leprechaun. Oh. Just want to say thank you for caring about these issues and breaking them down for us. You're very welcome. Thank you very much for listening. Please share. Please share as much as humanly possible. All right. So, folks, one more time, here's where you can get our coaching. Actually, this is where you can sign up to the Substack. Go follow my Substack. I'm going to post up an article later today. I'm posting just about daily articles about crazy shit that you're not going to hear about on the news that's completely factually based. Like, I provide, whenever I write an article, I always provide all the sources that I use, always put them up in there. Go Substack. And I'm also going to start a group chat for the Substack. So if you're on the Substack, there will be a group chat that you guys can just shoot questions out, and I'll probably be starting that thing today. So check that shit out too. Lane Norton says that high saturated fat still raises LDL. Is he right? In some people, I'm sure he is. Not everybody, but in some people, I'm sure he is. However, Lane Norton also thinks that high LDL is bad when there's no evidence of that. So, I mean, I honestly don't give a fuck what Lane Norton says about anything. Lane Norton's an objectively horrible person that was out cheating on his fucking pregnant wife while she was at home pregnant, taking care of their mentally challenged, disabled child that they already had. And he was off banging some chick who just went in for a green card, who he eventually left his wife for, married, and the very second she got her fucking green card, she fucking left his ass. So Lane Norton is just good proof that PhDs can be stupid as fuck. So, not a fan. Not a fan. His ex-wife is a nice person, and he's a fucking completely horrible fucking asshole individual. Anyway, basically any dietitian and nutritionist is ethically defunct. Just think that what other career has a level of ethically questionable issues. Yeah, you didn't know that? That's the thing. Like, everybody always brings up Lane Norton to me. I don't give any credence to what somebody that is not only that, but he's intellectually dishonest. He has a video, and I don't need to go into the whole debate me Lane bullshit, but like, he has a video where he promotes GLP-1s because people ask him, is berberine nature's GLP-1, right? And he goes into this long thing, how it's completely different, like how GLP-1 is like a bazooka and berberine is like a pop gun, because berberine has something like a 5 kilogram weight loss and it's like a 15 kilogram weight loss for Ozempic, right? But what he doesn't actually say, because he is a liar and intellectually dishonest, is that he was comparing a 68-week study from Ozempic to a 12-week study from berberine, and decided to compare them as if they're the same fucking thing. Because why wouldn't a PhD who has literally, when you have a PhD next to your name, do you know what you are an expert in? Research. Research on the topic that you fucking discuss. That's it. You are not some super smart person. You are an expert in researching the topic that you chose. That's it. And he can't even be intellectually honest about that. Lane Norton is a piece of shit human being that cheated on his fucking pregnant wife while she was at home taking care of their special needs child, who then is completely a liar when it comes to how he presents information on many, many, many times, because he has to try to prove he's right even when he has to be intellectually dishonest about it. So there you go. That makes perfect sense that sugar, which is sticky, clogs arteries, not saturated fat. It's not even the sticky portion about it, because that's not even what clogs arteries, really. What clogs arteries is people eat a lot of sugar and then they get inflammation. They get what's called systemic inflammation. The inflammation damages vessels, right? Now, it doesn't help when people get things like COVID that does produce spike proteins, or take an experimental therapy that somehow trains your body to make spike proteins, as if that was a good idea. Like, why did we take the most dangerous aspect of disease and teach your body to fucking do it? It's stupid. It was like stupid on its fucking premise, right? But the spike proteins can damage blood vessels and arteries and stuff like that too. But it's not that it's sticky that it causes it to build up. It's that the actual damage is caused by inflammation, and then the cholesterol and the plaques show up as kind of like the scab to the inflammation and the damage. Like, the plaque buildup is the result of the damage, it's not the thing causing the damage. It make sense? Or he let his ego take the lead. Oh, I'm a PhD, so I would be able to sleep with anyone. Possibly. And no, he doesn't. He doesn't look at any of the new data. He's very stuck in his ways. Oxidative damage, exactly. And you're very welcome. So, hey, folks, one more time. Here is where you can grab our coaching. Please do sign up. We are looking for this. We have one 1-year slot left. If you have 100 plus pounds to lose, the 1-year slot is for you. $4.99. Please. That's a fabulous fucking deal. It's less than $50 a month as an average, by the way, for daily communication, weekly video conferences, use of the app, helping you build a healthy lifestyle. So please do check that out right here. My name is Alan Roberts. I have got to go because I've got to be live again in about 45 minutes for Jewcast. I hope all of you have a great day. God damn.
The Holy Trinity Bundle isn't just about weight loss. It's about empowering you to find your healthiest, happiest self. Let's talk about what's in the bundle and how it caters specifically to our needs. First, we got Ember, which is not just any fat burner. It's also going to boost your mood, your energy levels, while also suppressing your appetite. And if you're worried about it being too strong, you can split the tablet in half to tailor its impact. Next, we have Alchemy NCT, which turns the carbs that you eat into energy and not fat. Yes, energy, not fat. This is our way of making sure that the meals that you eat contribute positively to your weight loss journey. And girls, we all know that we want that. And finally, no morbidity. This one's my favorite because it works while you sleep. It burns fat and controls those nighttime cravings without any stimulants, so you wake up feeling refreshed. Try it out and feel the genuine difference. Here's to new beginnings and real results.